Hey guys, what you doing? It's me, back from the dead, except not really, considering I'm probably gonna post this video, and I'm gonna be gone for a couple weeks. Or months. It really is just a shot in the dark at this point. R.I.P. the killer doll, she died the way she lived, being inconsistent as fuck. But hi, I'm back, and not under the best circumstances considering the world is apparently coming to a fucking end. Or so it seems. I mean, stores are out of toilet paper, food is very in low stock, morale is low, iDubbbz is a simp. I could name many things. That was a joke. I'm not actually, calling him, a simp. It's a joke. Just fuck off. But basically, for those of you living under a rock or who just, I genuinely don't know, I think everybody knows about this. It's a global fucking pandemic. I'm not surprised. But there is a thing out there called coronavirus or COVID-19, which is basically fucking put life at a halt for everyone at this point and has destroyed the world as we know it. People are out of jobs because of this. People are working from home because of this. Colleges and universities have shut down because of this. Basically, the world is kind of crazy right now, and I don't think it's going to change at any moment, anytime soon. Especially thanks to the people we are going to be talking about in this video, because I don't say the word I hate people a lot, but I genuinely mean it with these people. They fucking suck. So for those of you who don't know, coronavirus basically peaked at the best possible time, and by best possible time, I mean the absolute worst time it could have. The coronavirus basically hit the United States right before colleges were going on spring break, which if you don't know is basically a religious fucking holiday for college students where we get to go out for a week and party our fucking brains out. So while the government wants us to sit at home, these cream of the crop students have basically decided to go to Miami and just fuck life up even further. The future leaders of the world have decided to display their lack of brain cells publicly for all of us. I can't say I'm surprised at this point. And before we go further into this topic, I just wanted to point out that I'm not really saying this as a concerned citizen necessarily. I mean, I am a concerned citizen because this is a fucking pandemic. But I'm more so saying this as a college student who almost was in this exact situation. As in, I was definitely on track to being one of these idiots. Not from going to Florida, but from going to California to visit a friend. So basically, since December, I had a plan to go to California to visit an old friend that I used to go to school with, who now lives out there. We were gonna go to Disneyland, we were gonna hang out, we were just gonna do a ton of shit. I had a tattoo appointment scheduled. Everything was looking fantastic. And then the world went to shit. Despite all of the shit that was going on though, at the time I was very dead set on still going to California. This was basically the one thing I was looking forward to this semester, and I was not going to let a flu-like pandemic, in my head at the time, stop me from going. What I'm trying to get at here is come hell or high water, I was going to go on this trip until, yes, there was a very significant moment that made me realize I do not want to go on this fucking trip. And it wasn't Disneyland closing. I basically realized a few things. Number one was basically that I would definitely be probably okay if I got this sickness. I say probably because the flu always hits me very, very fucking hard, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the thing to tap me out. But I could probably survive this. But I could also possibly carry it and spread it to my parents who are coming to help me move out, who are both older, and my dad smokes like a fucking chimney. I could spread this to a family member that I'm very close with who is in her 70s, and I would not feel comfortable, obviously fucking killing my aunt. Maybe I'd give it to my roommate who I'm still living with. Literally, I could keep going if you guys need examples, but I think you get the gist of it. Secondly, that was literally fucking it. It takes a little ounce of empathy to realize that maybe your spring trip isn't as important as not spreading a fucking pandemic. Empathy. It's a hell of a drug, folks. So I canceled my trip, I'm getting a credit voucher, I have my tattoo appointment rescheduled for the next time I'll be able to go out to California, which hopefully is July, if we're on the track of China, which I doubt we are at this point, to be completely honest. And ever since then, I have basically been chilling and packing up all my stuff in my apartment, doing homework, all that boring shit. But yeah, I canceled my spring break trip because it is not worth possibly catching this and possibly dying or possibly spreading it to other people. I just don't see that as worth it. Unfortunately though, other people my age are actually fucking brain dead and thought, fuck it.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna let it stop me from partying. You know, we've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time. Whatever happens, happens.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, looks exactly how I'd imagine someone with a single brain cell and is infected with the virus would look like. If I get corona, I get corona. Let's fucking party. An absolute imbecile, and unfortunately this video is full of them. Dude, I've had this trip planned for months in advance. Let's fucking party. It's so fun. I'm gonna have a fucking great time. Yeah, y'all really couldn't call your airline and get a credit voucher or cancel your Airbnb? That just wasn't possible for you guys? Okay. Now before any fucking idiots decide to comment on this video and say,
well, doll, not everyone can get credit vouchers. Some people can't eat like $8,000 on a planned trip. It's just not gonna happen. It's a waste of money. You're being fucking privileged.
I, much like these people, have had this planned for months in advance. Several months in advance, just like them. And fortunately, airlines are also being very convenient because of this fucking pandemic. So refunding an airplane ticket was definitely an option for them. It wasn't just a me thing. And secondly, they mentioned using Airbnb instead of using hotels later on in this video and not wanting to cancel and stuff like that to also not be out money as well. Haven't mentioned it yet, you'll see it in a bit. It's there, I promise. So basically, Airbnb put COVID-19 under extenuating circumstances, and it was essentially offering full refunds for people with a check-in date between March 14th and April 14th, as long as the plans were made prior to March 14th. These plans were definitely made months in advance, and they definitely did meet the criteria for cancellations for a lot of things. So there is no excuse for the selfish and assholish behavior that they have basically displayed with this situation. You can't say you couldn't cancel because it's very obvious that you just didn't fucking care. Ironic, because this guy would literally change his mind after all the pushback he would get. We'll get to that later though.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. What is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion. I think it's doing way too much.
Yeah, you know, this is just really messing up my spring break. Like, I just wanted to get absolutely shit-faced and puke on the beach. But now I, can't because people are dying.
Yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible, but inevitable?
Okay, blonde Vanessa Hudgens with obvious eyelash extensions. We get that you wanted to get so fucking shit-faced that you'd forget about the previous night, but fun fact, you could also do that from home. Absolutely nobody is stopping you from getting shit-faced at your apartment and regretting the actions you'll do in the next morning. Trust me on that one. I also love how she's basically saying that this is all being blown out of proportion because, well, hindsight is 20/20. Practically a week later, everything just fucking went berserk, so, I really don't think we were blowing out of proportion. You know, both of the states I live in have a shelter-in-place order put on them. Most stores are closed, restaurants are closed, work is basically closed for a lot of people. A lot of people have been laid off or don't have a job right now. But blonde Vanessa Hudgens, I definitely think the government was out to get you on this. They were definitely blowing it out of proportion, and they just wanted to fuck up your spring break. I'm so sorry, sweetie.
Yeah, I mean, we planned this a long time ago, and it was kind of up in the air if we still go, but we're here. I just turned 21 this year, so I'm here to party, so it's kind of disappointing, but we're just making the most of it.
Not celebrating my 21st birthday during a pandemic? That's fucking lame. I need to get trashed.
I say as I'm holding a bottle of water because I am dehydrated. Honestly, I feel like if these people saw how I celebrated my 21st, they'd think that I'm lame as shit. All I did for my 21st was go get dinner with my mom, go to my friend's house to play Mario Kart, drunk off our ass, and also, it was pretty chill. It was chill as shit. It was a good night. But I didn't even risk lives by getting infected with a fucking thing that doesn't even have a cure, so that's pretty fucking lame, I guess. Remember when I used to record gameplay high as balls? That was a good time. Leave a like if you remember that and want to bring that shit back. Hashtag bring back old killer doll.
We met these other people in our little Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
Okay, not to be a bitch, but that face just screams, I have one functioning brain cell that has an alcohol problem. Also, again, not to be a bitch, but I'm pretty sure you'd still be able to get drunk considering all liquor stores are still fucking open. Because even in a pandemic, it is indeed Corona time.
I mean, it sucks, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're enjoying ourselves. It sucks, and I'm from New Orleans, so this really sucks. However, we're gonna enjoy ourselves. We having day parties all day. It's my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. Turn up.
You know, Lizzo really meant everything she said in Juice, I guess. And she's really out here partying while the world's ending, but you know, I'll give her credit, at least she's consistent. Now with this last guy, I really feel like I don't need to get into him because, kind of looks like a reanimated corpse. This image overall just encapsulates the idiocy of the people that decide to still go on spring break during a fucking pandemic. In a fun twist of events, as I mentioned, we were gonna go back to the first guy, but you remember him, right?
If I get corona, I get corona.
Yeah, that dude. Well, he later made a statement saying that he's basically a fucking idiot for his choice to go and party during the pandemic. All under the guise of, He didn't know any better. This is a face of a person who is tired of young adults getting away with dumb shit by saying that they didn't know any better. I fucking hate it. The clip went viral. If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna let it stop me from partying. Brady Sluter, a spring breaker in Miami, said last week. Now, as the United States is at about 55,000 cases of the coronavirus, including more than 780 deaths, and is on the track to become the new center of the pandemic, he has revised his message. Don't be arrogant and think you're invincible like myself. So to give you a breakdown of this article, it basically goes on from talking about how these spring breakers who were basically being fucking idiots on live TV feel sorry that they're actually suffering consequences for their live broadcasted actions. The dude is literally saying that he wasn't aware of like the severity of this pandemic. By the time that all this was coming down, WHO and the CDC were basically broadcasting as much information as they could get out there to the public. This was literally on every news channel. You could not escape a report that didn't involve the coronavirus. There was literally nothing on TV that wasn't talking about it. There was nothing online that wasn't talking about it. I really don't understand how you didn't have more than enough information to make an educated decision to not go on a trip during a pandemic. I don't get it. Everything was available at literally your fingertips. You just decided to ignore it. Just face the music and say that you're a fucking moron. I am begging you. And unfortunately, it's because of idiots like this that articles are now saying this. Are spring breakers like Sluter to blame for their previous blasé attitude? Or is it more the fault of the government for not communicating the severity of the situation? I can answer this very quickly for you. If we're thinking logically for a second, during the coronavirus outbreak and the initial reports of it, people stopped buying the beer Corona because they thought they could get coronavirus from it. And then it became a meme and it started selling better than ever, but that is besides the point. To be honest, I think it could be a 50-50 thing because I don't think it was necessarily being reported as properly as it could have been. When I say that, I feel like it was being very underplayed by people instead of being talked about as something that doesn't have a cure, has very effectively harmed populations, has really killed a good amount of people. But at the same time, I definitely think people did have access to valuable resources. Again, the internet is at our fingertips. You definitely had stuff to use to learn a little bit more about the situation. Essentially, you kind of ran with the idea that young people can't get it, and obviously that's fucking wrong. So you know my temples are literally throbbing right now thinking about this. This is agitating me so much that I feel like a fucking boomer with people my age. But I'm having physical effects now, so thank you, I guess. To go further into this, Molly, who was another spring breaker who was actually caught in the middle of it instead of like after spring break, commented on the issue saying, she saw Sluter's video and said that she has a lot of feelings about it. She felt it was really ignorant and selfish, but she said most people are ignorant and selfish, especially at like 18 to 22 years old. At the time of the video, I don't think most people were considering the gravity of a pandemic, and I think that needs to be taken into account before we shame and ridicule these people, Molly said. Instead, they were probably thinking about the money they'd sunk into the trip and the break they'd been looking forward to for weeks or months. Michael Arsenault? Fuck it. Michael Anthrax took Molly's point one step further in his piece for NBC News Think, titled, "Young People Didn't Social Distance Because the Government Kept Telling Them Not to Worry." And with that being said, I really can't help but think that not only do people think that we lack empathy in my generation, but I'm gonna guess that they also think we lack fucking intelligence as well. Not only are we selfish, we're pretty fucking stupid, I guess. Honestly, don't blame me at this point because this whole situation has basically proved that point, right? Like, hate to break it to you, apparently we're fucking stupid. Basically, I don't think it is fair to necessarily go after just the government in this situation. I feel like if we want to be honest, the media could even be to blame because it really did underplay some parts of it. But I also think it's fair to blame these young adults for making a shitty fucking decision and not utilizing resources they have available to make a better choice. Which is probably why this article also goes into detail about how spring breakers returning from spring break have been testing positive for coronavirus. These college students who weren't practicing social distancing and decided to go party during spring break caught the coronavirus and are now spreading it? Who would have thought? I don't think I'm conveying my point well enough, so I'm just gonna put it out there really quick. I think the government and the media did a very poor job talking about the coronavirus. I don't think we necessarily addressed it as well as we could have at the time being. But at the same time, when it comes down to people making a decision to go on a trip or not go on a trip during a pandemic that they are definitely aware of, I think it is very clear to say that it is obvious that they chose to leave. Miami with a little bit more than a sunburn, consciously. And it's super fucking dumb for articles like this to even imply that there is more to it other than people not being selfish. This was clearly a selfish choice from these people, and they are now suffering the repercussions of basically the whole country knowing that they're fucking idiots. This whole scenario basically exposed them for being very selfish, unintelligent, and not empathetic at all. Kinda said it took people calling them out in order for them to understand that they fucked up, but better late than never, guys. But that's gonna be it for this video. Just wanna throw this out here. As a sign of life, I am living, I am okay. I'm not sick. Thank fucking God. But I also wanted to make this to kind of show that while there are definitely fucking idiots out there, a lot of people I know personally canceled trips that they had over the summer because of this, and I personally canceled, so I mean, there's a few of us out there that use our one brain cell for good things and are intelligent enough with it, I guess. If I can make a slightly intelligent decision, I'm pretty sure there's some hope. But anyways, if you want to support one of the few 20-somethings who didn't decide to spread a fucking pandemic across the United States, why don't you leave a like on this video? Just fucking slap that like button, please. If I could use my one brain cell to make an intelligent decision, maybe I can use it to entertain you. Probably not, but I digress. I don't know. I can't promise shit at this point. We all know how inconsistent this fucking channel is. But yeah, anyways, until the next video, stay safe. Do not contract the coronavirus. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Now, before anybody shits on me for this setup, this is called moving out of your apartment within a couple weeks' notice.
I'll be the spring breaker. Yo, coronavirus? More like, coronavirus can suck my pee-pee.
Jesus Christ, I hate this.